25 years of bold and fearless journalism. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News. And this bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kokomlemle at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country including A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, YFM in Y, and also Radio Max in Takrade, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. In this edition, opposition NDC takes its fight against a Japan royalties agreement a notch higher as its flag bearer threatens the party will use all legal means to frustrate the implementation of the agreement if government fails to halt it immediately.
We will oppose the agreement and will do everything legitimately in our power to frustrate that agreement in the interest of the people of Ghana.
We'll hear from former President Mahama. Also, Joy News checks, meanwhile, review claims by the minority that it pushed for an amendment to the Minerals Income Investment Fund Act 2018 to take away its ability to be incorporated abroad are untrue.
You proposed an amendment to this clause.
This very clause.
And it was defeated. But this was on the floor.
This was on the floor.
But Joy News reading of the Parliamentary Hansard shows the only amendment to the bill was by Chairman of Parliament Finance Committee, Dr. Marcus Beabua.
We have details of that. Also, hundreds of hectares of farmland submerged by floods in some communities in the northeast region following the spillage of the Bagri Dam and torrential rains. We'll get the latest as the regional minister tours affected areas. One presidential contender and two running mates hit the road. We'll bring you updates on the ongoing tours by John Mahama, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and Vice President Baumia.
I'm ready to vote. I'm ready to vote NDC. All right.
We have details of that. And in sports,
Executive Council member of the GFA, Randy Abbey, describes as feasible the association's $12 million budget.
And later on, entertainment will tell you about the winner of the Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year at the 21st Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, Ras Kuku, and how he waited 21 years to win that award.
The argument for the no vote is weak. I think it's unconvincing, and I think it's very convenient. For that reason, I am in support of a yes vote. When there comes a time in a political career when one has to put the national interest above.
I beg your pardon, you're not wrong in set. We'll bring you Raskuku, however, much later in the bulletin. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Thanks for your company. Let's get into the details now here on the Midday News. Now, NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama has served notice his party will start a series of actions to frustrate the implementation of the Japan royalties agreement if government fails to halt it. Mr. Mahama had earlier stated that he won't respect the deal if the NDC wins power. Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah shortly after condemned what he called actions by senior politicians that has the potential to ward off persons who may want to invest in the Japan agreement. Listen.
What we find unpatriotic as a majority, which we have called out, is that it is not right that when the government of Ghana is in the middle of transactions like this, you have senior politicians going out there and threatening investors. That if you participate in this, we will not honor. This is why it is not patriotic. We think it is not responsible. We think that if you have challenges, you can raise those challenges, you can raise those questions, but do not threaten investors when the sovereign public is out there raising resources.
Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah. Now, Mr. Mahama has, however, taken his opposition to the deal a notch higher, saying all legal means will be deployed to frustrate it if government does not halt it. He's been speaking to the chiefs and people of Kaleo in the Upper West region. We'll hear from the former President John Mahama on that pretty shortly, but he's also rejected assertions that an NDC government in the past attempted to monetize Ghana's royalties in a similar manner.
And recently, they went and took something from Parliament in 2011, Ghana Gold, and said, oh, but you two were trying to monetize the gold. The difference is that the proposed Ghana Gold Company was 100% owned by the government and people of Ghana, not Ejapa. Ejapa Ghana owns only 51%. 41% is held by other people we don't know.
We can now hear from our President Mahama saying that the opposition would take it or use all legal means to frustrate it if government does not halt it.
They should desist immediately from signing that Ejapa deal. We are going to oppose it. We will oppose the agreement and will do everything legitimately in our power to frustrate that agreement in the interest of the people of Ghana. A small group of people cannot go and write an agreement and monetize our gold royalties for the next 15 years and even in perpetuity without our consent.
Now, Joint News checks have revealed that claims by the minority in Parliament that it pushed for an amendment to the Minerals Income Investment Fund Act 2018 to take away its ability to be incorporated abroad is untrue. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo has more.
Clause 3, subsection A of the Act says the fund may create and hold equity interest in a special purpose vehicle in any jurisdiction in furtherance of its objects. Speaking on PM Express on Tuesday night, Minority spokesperson on finance, Kesela Fortin, said the minority sought to amend that clause, but that was shot down.
You proposed an amendment to this clause.
This very clause.
And it was defeated. But this was on the floor.
This was on the floor.
But Joint News reading of the Parliamentary Hansard of 25th September 2018, when Parliament considered the Clause 3 of the bill, shows the only amendment to the bill was by Chairman of Parliament Finance Committee, Dr. Marcus Beabua. The amendment was to replace a figure 41 in the bill with 40. Fast forward to July 2020, government sought amendment to the act to give Ejapa unfettered independence. Minority Leader Hannah Idris, who served notice his side, will not back the amendment.
I will invoke our standing orders that when it comes to this matter, we will insist on a head count on this matter. We don't want to be counted as supporting this particular bill.
But when Parliament approved the amendment 2 weeks later, the minority raised no objection. It was only when government brought the Ejapa agreement itself to the House for approval that minority MPs walked out of the chamber.
Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo's report. Meanwhile, President of the National House of Chiefs, Agbogbo Togbe Afede, has called on the public to disregard publications purported to have emanated from the chieftaincy institution backing the Ejapa deal. He says the agreement is shrouded in secrecy and he cannot understand why.
I am very much hurt by the attempts to use my name to grant legitimacy to a transaction that has been widely condemned for its secrecy and for the fact that the company involved, Ejapa, was incorporated in a tax haven. I have decided not to comment for good reasons. Even the Attorney General had issued a statement showing her disapproval. I don't see why a financial transaction should be shrouded in secrecy in the first place.
Now, that's the President of the National House of Chiefs, Togbe Afede, the 14th there. Still on the Ejapa royalties deal, Deputy Information Minister Pius Hajide has been offering some information following government's meeting with the CSOs yesterday, 21 of them. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba was at that briefing. He joins us in studio. Maxwell, what clarity has the Deputy Minister been providing on this issue?
Well, the Deputy Information Minister says that government has noted with concern what it says is some kind of misinformation and how a section of the public has been misled. So he says that the meeting with the CSOs was to provide clarity to the matter. And he says that the income from the Ejapa royalties deal will be used in the areas of health, education, road infrastructure, and then housing.
We are happy to continue to engage and provide clarity to anybody or any institutions and organizations that may so desire. In the meantime, even as we engage, government shall continue to work in the best interest of the Ghanaian people, use our nation's resources to leverage our assets for tomorrow. Let's be reassured that the income from the Ejapa Mineral Royalty Limited arrangement will be used in 4 main areas: health, education, road infrastructure, and housing.
Well, that's Deputy Information Minister Pius Hajide. Apologies for that, but we've been hearing from the CSOs themselves right after that meeting yesterday, and they are hoping to study the documents that were provided by government, and then later we'll hear an official response from the CSOs that met the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and his team yesterday. Now, away from the Japan Royalties Agreement, hundreds of hectares of farmlands have been submerged by flood in some communities in the Mamprugu Maiduguri district of northeast region following the spillage of the Bagri Dam and torrential rains. The situation has forced dozens of farmers in the area to move to the flooded farmlands in attempt to salvage their crops despite a warning by NADMO. The farmers expressed worry over food shortage and hunger and called on government for intervention.
This is my father's farm, and every year the water overflowing our farms and we don't know how to do it. And we are pleading to the government to come and help us, because while our parents get money from farming, and when they farm and the water come and offload, so we don't know how to. So we are pleading the government to come and help us.
Let's go live to the area where Ilyasu Tanko is joining us. Ilyasu, we understand the regional minister is leading a team of NADMO officials to tour the affected areas. Describe to us the extent of damage.
Exactly, Emefa. The team is here to reach the affected areas. But like the reports that we have been getting is that about over 100 farmlands are currently flooded in about 3 districts in the region: the West Mamprugu municipality, the Mamprugu Muaduri district, and also some parts of the East Mamprugu municipality. The NADMO officials are here. The regional minister is touring that area to examine the state of damage and possibly help the affected people.
Now, you got the opportunity to interact with the development worker there, Jeremiah Seidu. What's he asking government to do?
Exactly. I mean, he has been helping local farmers in the area. So he said he got information that their farmlands are flooded. And looking at the state of damage, he's asking the government through the Agri Ministry to intervene and help the farmers.
The roads are flooded, the farms are flooded, roads are cut off. Trucks cannot even ply the roads where the contractors are working on. But I think that the minister needs to look at this critically, because this is a recipe to famine this year, hunger this year. Because if you look at both left and right, both sides of the farms, this is over hundreds of hectares of maize that has just gotten flooded. And this has been in the water for the last 1 week. We want to call on government's attention to see how they can start looking at the farmers and see if there will be any remedy or support for them.
That's a development worker there, Jeremiah Seidu, interacting with Ilyasu Tanko in the northeast region. Back here in Accra, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, says, amongst others, the quest for accurate COVID-19 test results for persons arriving in Ghana account for what some persons have described as high charges. Speaking at the Ministry of Information press briefing, he stated that so far no positive case has been recorded at the airport since the resumption of international commercial flights.
Generally, what do we want to achieve? We want to achieve a test that is very, very sensitive, that tells you that if you are positive, you are positive. If you are negative, you are negative at the shortest possible time. And to look at that, what you get is the new technology that provides that at a cost. But let me explain to you that where people are using PCR and they are charging, I hear Egypt is $30, some are $75, you need to go to your hotel for a day or two to wait for your results. And so you have to put all that in the cost. And for someone, a new equipment like that, you expect that the cost build-up is not going to be easy. But even in that, you realize that it's still relatively cheaper. And we've also not had any significant protest from anybody who feels that the cost is expensive. So the cost is more about the value of what you are providing at top speed and high quality, sensitive result that gives you what we all expect. Because the ultimate goal for the country is to ensure that we don't import any new virus into that. All our problems started because everything that came here was imported, and it gave us a lot of problems. So
now, as final year students complete their WASI examinations this Friday, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service also stated students in schools with recorded cases will have their departure days delayed for assessment of contacts before they are released to go home. Students in schools with no positive cases will be allowed to go home without any delays. apologies for that. We now head to the election headquarters. And we're here at the campaign show now because, as you know, with 3 months to the December polls, the leaders of the governing NPP and opposition NDC have been crisscrossing the country to win the hearts and minds of the electorate. Let's start with the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is in the northern region. This morning, he's been visiting chief and people of Myong and Savulugu. Martina Bugri is traveling with him as she joins us on the line with more on this. So, Martina, where else has Dr. Bawumia been, and where exactly is he now, and what's he been saying?
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, just arrived at the Yanas Palace, where he's beginning the visit. He was supposed to have been here earlier, but there's been a downpour, and that has delayed his appearance before the Yana. So from here, we are going to the Myonglanas Palace, where he would interact with the Myonglana, and then we go to the Yonas Palace in Savulugu, and that's it for today.
Well, that's Martina Bugri bringing us to speak on where the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has been to.
Do you have your registration card? Are you ready to vote? Are you ready to vote, NDC? All right.
Let's stay up north, but this time in the Upper West Regional Capital, where the flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Mahama, is touring. Mr. Mahama is on a 4-day visit to the region. He was mobbed by residents of Boli on his way to Wa East earlier today. Rafiq Salam is our man on the ground. He joins us live on the line. Rafiq, bring us up to speed on what Mr. Mahama has been doing.
Former President John Dramani Mahama, his itinerary is taking him into the Wa East today. But what actually happened was that when he was getting to the outskirts of the Wa municipality, precisely at Boli, the people blocked the road and told them that unless they have a word with him, they wouldn't allow him to go. And so it was there that he made a statement telling them that he will elevate their clinic to the politics of the polyclinic. And he also spoke about the problem nature of their road, which he said that he will fix. So from there, he came to Mangwe. That's where he is currently in. But they just installed him or inskin him as the Masiamana of the area. And they're saying that in terms of difficulties, this is where they are drawn to. And they think that Ghana is in difficult times and they need Mahama to rescue them from that difficulty.
Another chieftaincy title for Mr. Mahama, but he's also been speaking about the upcoming voter exhibition exercise.
He's been speaking about
the voter exhibition exercise. Tell us more.
Yeah, he said that he was happy with the turnout, that there was a massive turnout by the people of the Boli traditional area. And so he's also encouraging them to do the same once they open the voter register up for exhibition, so that they should take keen interest in it to ensure that their names are on the voter register to enable them where Mahama will back power.
So they are going to exhibit the voters register. And so as seriously as you took the registration exercise, I expect you to take the exhibition of the voters register the same way. Somebody should come and check if his name is in the register. Because if you don't come and check and accidentally submitted, on voting day you have your voter's ID card, but you cannot vote. And so please, the exhibition exercise, come and check your name in the voters register.
Now, let's stay a while longer on the NDC because the former president's running mate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, also kick-started a 3-day tour in the Western North region to introduce herself to the people and seek their mandate. She visited the Bebieni Arienso Bekwai constituency, where she bemoaned the violence that characterized last month's voter registration exercise.
The voters' register has been compiled several times in Ghana's history. Unfortunately, the recent one took a turn for the violence. This will not help any of us as citizens. What matters most, especially to me, is that we all uphold the peace.
And now the recent alleged assault of Odododio MP Nilante Vanderpoy has triggered calls yet again for an end to electoral violence. Joy News has in the last few weeks been embarking on a peace campaign to ensure the December 7 poll is incident-free. The team took our microphones to Ayawaso, West Wogon, the scene for the bloody by-election in January 2019. Winston Amwa, deputy head of our political desk, joins me in studio with details. Now, Winston, tell us about the visit to Ayawaso and what the residents have been saying.
So, Emefa, we went to Ayawaso West Wagon just to find out from residents of the area what actually transpired on the day for those who witnessed it and how they feel going into election 2020. You know, some persons were injured as a result, and we wanted to find out, even as we preach for peace and actually encourage Ghanaians to shun any politician who preaches violence, to find out what they think about the whole exercise and whether going forward into election 2020, are they scared? Would they be voting?
I was shocked because I haven't seen that thing before in my life. Even I haven't heard anything about it before. That's why. So I was shocked that day.
You were hearing gunshots. People were running. Were you afraid?
Yes, I'm afraid. Because you can't even see what the dead day and then you are going to cut the dead. You're supposed to run away.
So will you be voting?
Yes.
December?
Yes.
No, bad.
Yeah, bad. I didn't see.
If you say yes, of course we are harm. Nenye kra. Area ni dio mungu ne nimas ba dio mo nipa na omo ankasa omo yes ade no no. Omo ana omo gu omo nimas.
Okay. But that's why. Yeah, that's only ankasa. Right. Well, quick translation. This is a lady who works in a hair salon, and she's explaining how she observed somebody being beaten for filming the events of the day. They were told that this individual was told by the armed men to stop filming. He refused, and so they beat him up. She thinks that it was quite bad what happened, and well, she's not too worried about it happening again. She feels that it's past.
Some residents of Ayawaso West Wogon interacting in that bloody by-election to the SMS team led by Kujo Yangson. This is the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. Top stories. Opposition NDC takes its fight against a Japan royalties agreement a notch higher as its flag bearer threatens the party will use all legal means to frustrate the implementation of the agreement if government fails to halt it immediately. Still to come, we have sports, and later on entertainment, we'll tell you about the winner of the Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year at the 21st Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, Ras Kuku, and how he waited 21 years to win that award.
I took Okada 1 a.m. from Ashomanas Estate to Domain to come and record the track number 12 on the album. That is Mami.
And it's what? Boom. Say boom. Okay. Well, give us sports. We'll tell you about boom. We'll talk about Raspuku later. What does it mean? What does it mean?
We have to get him on the list.
Okay, what's in sport?
Congress of the Ghana Football Association on Tuesday approved $12 million as budget for the 2020-2021 financial year. There's been questions about how the association will raise the cash to fund the budget, which has been described as unrealistic, but Executive Council member Randy Abe says the budget is feasible.
I would say that it's largely feasible because it's also against the backdrop of a lot of dedicated funds that are going to come from FIFA. And so you would see that a lot of our capital expenditure is reliant on what we expect to get. And these are funds that you could call dedicated. And that constitutes about 37 or 38 million of the funding that we're receiving. So yes, it's realistic. And I'm even happy that, over 50% of the expenditure is going to CAPEX. Yes, I think that is good. That's investment. That's investment. I would have been troubled if a lot of money was going into consumption. Yes.
That's our Executive Council member of the Ghana Football Association, Randy Abe, speaking. The Emefa today also marks the 90th of the passing of Liberty Professionals President Alhaji Laitete, who is credited with producing some of our big players. That's including Michael Essien Asamoah and Sule Ali Muntari. The man passed away while featuring in a special retired footballers match in Cape Coast. May his soul continue to rest in peace.
In perfect peace. And that's my neighbor as well. And may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Thank you very much, Hans Mensando, with the latest from the world of sport. Now we'll talk about contract for sale, and it's almost a year since that investigative piece was put together by my colleague Manasseh Azure Awini. Yesterday, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee raised concerns about why the delay from the Office of the Special Prosecutor and Shraj. We've been checking on Shraj in terms of where they are with that investigation. But before then, let's hear from Manasseh Azure Awini, who's been complaining about that delay.
Exactly
with this investigation?
Very much so, Emefa, because I expected the state institutions to be faster than I did. I did this documentary or investigation in 2 months. And the thing about state institutions is that they have more resources, they have more personnel, and they have the power to command people to appear and to submit information at specific times, which the investigative journalist doesn't have. So I think that even if they were doing a more comprehensive work, they should have been done by now.
But I'm sure you've been finding out from the Office of the Special Prosecutor and Shraj as to where exactly we are. Have you had any information? Were you even involved in the investigative process at all?
Emefa, for about a year now, since this investigation started, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is yet to even get me to assist with whatever information I had beyond what I put out.
That's investigative journalist Nasser Remiao. I beg your pardon, Manasseh Azuri Awini. Now, Chairman of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, James Klucha-Veji, yesterday asked the Office of the Special Prosecutor and SHRA to speed up investigations into the matter.
I'm not sure it's good enough. We think within a year or within 6 months, they should be able to conclude the investigation. But I don't know how the issues involved are. So it's over a year. So we should be expecting the outcome of that investigation, so that if there is a need for the CEO who was accused of to be set free or prosecuted, we should be hearing that for now. It doesn't give any good image of the organization.
That's the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Klucha-Veji. Now, residents of the western regional town of Olobo in Heda say their lives are on the line as waste from illegal mining activities and the rubber processing plant has poisoned the only river they drink from. As part of the Joy New Safe Water Project, Justice Bedo visited the community. Here's his report.
These are everyday scenes in Olobongada, a small village in the western region. Getting water to drink is a daily battle.
This is all we drink, and now it is getting bad.
All their problems aside, they have to deal with the waste that rising activities of Galamsey workers leave behind. The residents here are hoping their story will change soon. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Olubo Ngada.
Now it's time for Tech Thursday, and today we are taking you to the College of Technology of the University of Education, which has developed an automatic energy efficient system that controls lighting in a given area. Prince Apia has more.
After about 10 to 15 minutes, it goes off. That's the essence of it, for it to go off and save and conserve energy. But that's what we realized now.
This system is designed to switch off power automatically 10 minutes after the last person leaves the room where the device is installed. After piloting the system in 4 lecture rooms on campus, authorities say it saved 70% of electricity costs. Dr. Albert Awoponi is head of the Electronic and Electrical Technology Department of the College of Technology.
Initially, we measured it at the first 3 months. It conserved about 70% of power was conserved.
The school intends to replicate it across the university and commercialize it.
In fact, it can be used to operate. It's just about connecting anything that you want to connect to it. But currently, it's the fans and the lights. So the fans and lights will both go off.
That's for Tech Thursday. Becky Chenibua-Dako, my favorite girl. She's in the studio. What are we talking about today?
Girl. Today, we're on the man from Domi Raskuku. Yes, the president of the POM Nation, should I say POM Nation. He won his first VGMA Awards by beating J. Dorobi, aka Songstress episode, Jupiter and Samini to reign the Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year. POM. We have something small for you from Raskuku is now the talk of town after winning the Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year at the 21st Photo Fungana Music Awards. Well, Raskuku is very excited and has been celebrating his award.
Raskuku, heavy, because it will make the other people who haven't heard of Raskuku hear of Raskuku today. and it will motivate the ghetto youth who support Raskuku, who Raskuku have been fighting for. It will make the youth and everybody know that every ghetto youth is a superstar. No matter where you come from, you are going to make it.
For some cross-section of Ghanaians on social media, they believe Raskuku won the coveted reggae and dancehall artist of the year award because some big names were not nominated in that category this year. He, however, debunks these claims. He said he has worked hard and deserves to be awarded, which will inspire the youth.
I took Okada 1 a.m. from Ashoma's estate to Domain to come and record track number 12 on the album, that is Mami. So, you know, we need to let the youth and the new borns know where we are coming from and where we are going.
Raskuku is set to release an upcoming song named GDA, which will feature gospel artist MOG and will be released on Friday, 4th September 2020.
What's the meaning of POM?
POM is a nation. It's a whole big nation from
like smoke,
no, Emefa, you can't say
POM. Thank you very much, Becky, and that's it for the midday news. But Sarah, what's happening at One on Business?
Well, the Communications Minister has faulted NCA for failing to implement recommendations from a survey that expressed concerns about the dominance of MTN in the telecoms market. So we'll be bringing you that and more at 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m. You want to stay for that. And right after this break, new things happen in new seasons. Being able to identify the season and knowing what to do to make it favorable to your life can be tricky. Find out how to approach such a season as Pastor Mensel Tabel presents part 3 of the new series. It's a new season on Living Word. Right after this, I am Emefa Apawu.